Hey, I'm Podcast Nate, and I'm inviting you to join the podcast revolution. I took my first podcast, The Sobriety Diaries, from launch to the top 3% globally in the first 90 days, and I've created a simple framework to help you achieve the same. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking for an additional stream of revenue or a creator expanding your platform, let's revolutionize your world one episode at a time. I am here with Ph.D., recovery expert, author, podcaster, and so much more, Dr. Robb Kelly. Good to see you again, my friend. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Nate. Thanks for having me back again. It's going to be awesome.
I'm so excited to chat again. You look great, I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. It's over 100 pounds weight loss and in the gym every day, as you can tell.
Wow.
And just living my best life at 62. I think that's the most enthralling thing that I can do for myself.
Come on, man. It's free bodybuilding advice.
I love that. I spent some time with my dad yesterday, and he says something very similar. Do something that makes you happy every day. Is being in the gym something that excites you and makes you happy now?
You know, it does. And I mean, I was a bodybuilder when I was young, semi-professional. So, but I just got back. I turned 60, Nate, and I was like 325 pounds. And I looked at myself one day and I thought, you know, I'm on stage, I'm on TV, and I'm on podcasting, telling people how to be great with themselves, but I wasn't feeling great myself and I didn't look great. So I decided by the time I was 62, which was last week, I'm going to be the best shape of my life. And I think I'm there.
Yeah. Well, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
60's the new 40.
Yes. Yes.
Male Caucasian, 40 to 60 years old.
So, Dr. Robb, I want to talk a bit about taking your own experience. And we've talked on my other show about recovery. I'll link that episode in today's show notes. But as a recovery expert and someone who has that lived experience and been on the streets and, is a best-selling author, how has podcasting helped to get the message out and helped to drive your business? And podcasting as a platform is so multifaceted. So how has it played a role in your life and your business?
Well, it's funny because I used to do a lot of TV, as you know, I was on national TV for a long time. But podcast has taken over. We get more out of podcasts than we do TV. So it's kind of ballooned the business, to be honest, because we're reaching the world. And it's surprised how many clients and patients we get from Germany, from England, from Switzerland. It's crazy because we open up. And I think if you get the podcasting right, you're having that personal, intimate conversation with somebody. Yeah. And it seems no matter what I say on podcast, it touches somebody. And I just think it's a great platform, better than emailing, text, phone calls, TV, radio. I just think our podcasting has changed the game for us completely, because you get in a certain position when people see you on TV or see your books that you can become unavailable to people. The amount of time I've walked through the office and picked the phone up and they've gone, can I get a message to Dr. Robb? And like, this is Dr. Robb. Oh my God. And I think podcasting has changed that to be more approachable. And what I try and do on most podcasts that I go on, including my own, is to give my personal cell phone number out, which obviously I wouldn't give on national TV, right. But it's not people that call me because they love that intimate phone call with me. I offer 15 minutes, just to chat and change your life, but they wouldn't normally call if they see me on TV. So it's fantastic for us.
Yeah, I think too, along that same idea of the personal and vulnerability, we're going into these intimate spaces. Yes. People listen to podcasts by themselves at the gym, in the car, and in these very real spaces in their real life, and we're delivering these vulnerable personal messages as well. I think it's a powerful medium.
I think it is, because if you look at TV for a whole, you have to be at home. Usually radio in the car, lots of advertisements, but podcasting, it gets into offices, it gets into the gym, to the car, to the home, to the work. I mean, it's just so such a huge platform now. It used to be Facebook, as we know, and then it used to be MySpace before that. I know you're too young to remember MySpace, but now this is it. This is the platform. So I often say to people, who are struggling pertaining to work, I can't find work. I don't know what to do. My answer is always the same. It's 2023, man. You have the world. Start a podcast. Start something that's going to get your voice out there, and it will really start slow, but stick with it. I think only till about, I don't know, I've done hundreds of thousands. I don't know how many I've done.
Yeah.
Thousands.
Lots. Yeah.
It's only lately that I've started to have a huge following. But so if you're new at podcasting, best thing you can do, it will improve your business. It will improve you. And I'll tell you why it improves you.
Yeah.
So we start to tell our intimate stories. And I know you've probably done the same, Nate, but when I'm doing my own podcast or talking on a podcast, something will come up that I've never discussed before. Where on TV, you're very guarded about what you have to say and what you don't, because usually you have an audience and the cameras, and somehow when you sat at home in your office, you can become more vulnerable. I think people like that.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in the recovery and the mental health space that you and I occupy, and that we've talked in depth about prior. But tell me about that sort of get on the same level with someone, podcast aside, but in the recovery space and being able to help them come out of the darkness that they're in.
Most people in the darkness or in that place that me and you have been before think they're the only one, think that they can't discuss it with anybody, think that it's dirty, if anyone finds out who I really am. And I think we're trying to smash that out of the cupboard. I really do. And I think once you start talking to people, and here's the vital part, sharing your story, making sure that I'm validating them because I've been through it, and I'm giving them approval to share their story and where they are. And I think once we're doing that, then we're bringing addiction to the forefront.
Hey, want to start a podcast? Spotify has a platform that allows you to create one so easily you won't believe it. And the best part, it's totally free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters allows you to record, edit, and distribute your episodes right from your phone or computer. You can also add songs from Spotify's library, edit with cool transitions, and then hear your show on all the big networks, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and more. You can also earn money through ads and subscriptions. And once again, for those in the back, it's completely free with no catch. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started today.
There's a couple of things as well with the basal ganglia. The hypothalamus is affected on the amygdala with the trauma when we're talking to someone and we can identify with them. I think for me, my therapist is a 78 and 80-year-old woman. She's an ex-drug addict, heroin addict, and hippie. And she curses like crazy.
I love her already.
I know, right? Because she draws me in, and I tell her stuff that I won't even tell my wife. And I think that intimacy and knowing that you have a solution and we have actually been there opens people up more.
Yeah, there's something different about if you're talking to a clinician in a very sterile setting in a doctor's office, as opposed to someone that you and I here talking about the same shit that we've been through, and we know that we get it, right?
You made your point. We get it.
Yeah, I mean, we closed offices down about the epidemic come down. We closed everything down and we went to Zoom. We've been doing Zoom for a long time, 8 or 9 years. But what we found, Nate, is exactly what you said. When people come into the office, they've showered, they've shaved, all their hair's nice, and they've got nice clothes on. And it becomes a clinical environment where it takes weeks to break somebody down to be intimate. On Zoom, the first 25 minutes, because they're usually there on a nice t-shirt, their hair's done with pajamas and slippers on, you can get deeper within the first session. It's phenomenal. People are more relaxed at home.
Well, I see the guitar behind you, and I know from our previous conversation that you are a musician. You know, I'm going to ask about Abbey Road. Tell me about, let's just walk through that experience for you. And if, you know, it's such a powerful thing, do you think back to those days often? Is it something that still kind of motivates you and that comes up regularly, that sort of era of your life?
It does, especially when I meet other musicians. How that came about is I was on stage at 9, as you know, playing with the musical family. And then one day, somebody invited me to a local studio. It was 10cc Studio, Strawberry Studios in Stockport, Manchester, for a session, to do a session work. Now, I'm getting paid, I don't know how much, £10 a gig, let's say. He invites me in the studio and they give me £25 for 90 minutes work. And I'm like, holy moly, my gigging days are gone. So I concentrated on that. And then I answered, I think it was Melody Maker, an English magazine, musical magazine, for a bass player at Abbey Road. And it took me many, many auditions before I got the job. But yeah, I loved that. But there was a lot of drinking and drug use there. It's like in the musical industry, especially in the studio environment, if you don't drink, you're kind of not trusted. It's kind of like my youth growing up in Moss Side in Manchester. But yeah, I got to play with these amazing guys, and it was just a great experience. You know, when you're sat at home, because there was the money from there, which was extortionate, paid for my college, and they call up and they say, hey, Freddie wants to come in and do a session at 3 a.m. in the morning, just you and him. It's like, but what I did is I ruined all that because my alcoholism and drug taking took over. And I know there's a few of them, but I'm one of the only people I think that got fired from a studio for being drunk. I thought that was normal.
Yeah, I thought that was the prerequisite for going in.
Crazy days.
Dr. Robb, as a businessman and entrepreneur and coach and motivator, what are some words of wisdom or some motivators that you would give a young entrepreneur these days?
Words of wisdom.
First of all, you have the world at your feet. But secondly, a warning, guys, we don't have time. Okay, ask any parent that's kissing the young kid off going to kindergarten. Next minute, they say they're going off to college. So listen, we don't have time. Okay, you can achieve anything. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. You have the platform on a screen in front of you. So there's a couple of things that I learned is you'll have your haters, but listen, you'll never meet a hater that's doing better than you. And if you do, when they start paying your mortgage, start listening to them. Until that, you can achieve everything. And neuroscience tells us this, and it's also backed by quantum physics can tell us this. So when we get parts of the brain, hypothalamus, basal ganglia again, ventromedial prefrontal cortex, the insula, when we get all that corrected, you can literally achieve. And listen, guys, about 10 years ago, when I said that to people would always say the same thing. Well, I can't be president of the United States. Forget your political views for a second. We had a business on running the country. Are you kidding me? Don't dare tell me you can't do it. So get your feet on the ground and you've got to go for it, guys, because you miss every shot you don't take. Remember that, okay? If you don't get something you want, it's because you have to learn a little bit more and go for it. It's not because you're not good at it. Get a dream, visualize it in your head, quantum physics, walk over and take that position. Get up every morning, look in the mirror and say, I love you 10 times. Looking yourself in the mirror, okay? So now we're storing the subconscious brain of absolutely, I can do anything. The next thing we do, if you brush your teeth with your right, start brushing with the left. Let's start changing them neural pathways and thought patterns. And then most importantly, entrepreneurs, and you'll think, Dr. Robb's crazy, is breath work.
Today's episode of the Podcast Revolution is brought to you in part by StreamYard. StreamYard has everything you need to create a branded experience with your content. Logos, brand colors, music, overlays, cool transitions, and more. Say goodbye to willy-nilly Wi-Fi connections. StreamYard uses live local recordings, so no matter what kind of connection you or your guest has, you're getting studio quality audio and video for your podcast recording. Click the link in today's show notes for $10 off any package when you subscribe to StreamYard today.
Most diseases are created in the body, cancers, etc., in a hypoxic area. When oxygen is present, is the absence of disease. So when we wake up in the morning, it's one of the reasons human beings don't wake up laughing, by the way, because the oxygen is really low during our sleep. So I want you to do this, guys. 10 exaggerated breaths in the morning and 10 at night. You watch your thought patterns get clearer, you'll feel better, and then you'll perform better. But don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. It's not correct.
I've heard that about breath work before, and it makes sense. Like if you are, you deep breath, you hear deep breath and it helps to clear your mind, but it makes sense that that equals the absence of disease, and that it sort of not only clears your mind and prepares you, but internally it's actually doing that work for you.
Yeah, and you'll look young and feel better. We only breathe 25% of our lung capacity. That's it. One of the reasons why we go to the gym and we feel good after we train is not the exercise. It's this in between sets. We're getting that oxygen in, that exaggerate oxygen in, and you'll feel better. If you're halfway through the gym and you're tired, do 10 exaggerated breaths in and out, exaggerated breaths in and out. And I tell you, I guaranteed the next set you do would be like you just started the training gym straight away.
Wow. Dr. Robb, what's big? What's coming up in the next couple months for you? What are you working on? Where can we see you?
Well, I'm creating, or have created, the Neuroscience Conference in Boca Raton, September the 22nd and 23rd. Myself and Adam Jabling, which is a great coach, we're creating. There's 100 people only. We've just started advertising it. So the neuroheroconference.com, get over there. But more exciting, I think, right now is we've just launched the RobbKellyFoundation.org to take money in to help people that, the people that we kind of forget about, the people that are down, the people that lost their children through some kind of addiction. We'll pay for, if you have to go to court to try and get your kids back, we'll pay for your suit, we'll pay for an Uber, we'll pay your first 6 months rent to get you up and going. So we're really excited about that to move us forward. And apart from that, I think we're just living life. We love what we do because we do what we love.
Yes. I love that. Well, I will link the foundation and the conference in today's show notes. Dr. Robb Kelly, always a pleasure, my friend. Let's keep in touch. I love these conversations.
Well, I've got to tell you, Nate, when I get my night the day before, so 8 o'clock last night, I get my day today. That's just the way I have to operate, 24 hours. That's a terrible memory. And your name come up, and I called Cotton straight away. And I said, "Is this Nate?" He said, "Yeah, you've been on the show before." I'm like, "Oh my God." So I got patients this morning starting at 7 a.m. and I'm like, I can't wait to come. Because I got to tell you, Nate, thank you for what you do. Because it can get lonely what we do. You're just an amazing person. You look amazing. You're full of energy. You've probably saved and worked with hundreds of thousands, if not millions, with the knock-on effect we have. And me, I love you to bits, man. I really do. I really just think you're amazing.
Ditto. I could do this every day. And if I make my way to, you're in Texas, right?
Yes, San Antonio.
Okay. Well, I hope you have a guest room for my next visit to San Antonio.
I'm going to put names on it this afternoon and stick it on the door.
All right. I'm going to hold you to that.
Oh, 100%, Nate. 100%.
All right. Talk soon, my friend. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, friends, for downloading today's episode. Stay tuned every Tuesday for new episodes highlighting the hottest equipment, production and editing tips, launching your show, pitching to sponsors, so much more. Everything you need that's involved in launching and monetizing a successful podcast. Subscribe to the Podcast Revolution now so you never miss an upload. Again, every Tuesday. Hit that follow button on Instagram at PodcastNate to submit your own questions on podcasting and to catch the latest updates on the show. Remember, friends, it's never too late to find your voice and use it. And let's revolutionize your world one episode at a time. Bye for now, friends.